Dear students, good morning. I hope you all are in fine health. So, we have revised chapter number 1, Introduction to Political Science and State. So, today we will revise chapter number 2, that is the origin of state. In this chapter, we are to revise two theories of origin of state. First is the divine origin theory. Second is the social contract theory of origin of state. Okay, so we will revise from the questions. First question is, it is an excerpt based question, or you can say that it is a statement based question. It starts, I authorize and give my right of governing myself to this man or this assembly of men on the condition that thou also give up thy right to him and authorize all his actions in the like manner. So, this is the statement. In the light of the given statement, discuss the main features of social contract theory. We are to discuss the main features of social contract theory. The answer to this question is given on page number 2.14 and 2.15. Okay, so point number A. Originally, people used to live in a prehistoric state of nature, which was a pre-political but not pre-social. So we can say that originally man used to live in the state of nature, which was a pre-political but not pre-social. It means that state was not there. Pre-political means state was not there but not pre-social. It means that society was there. Society was there but state was not there. The state of nature was characterized by peace and harmony, as it had a system of natural laws and natural rights. However, it faced several difficulties. In that state of nature, in which society was there but state was not there, it was a full of peace and harmony. It means that peace was all around and people had very cordial relations with each other. But in this state of nature, man found several difficulties. Okay, the people decided to end this state of nature and to establish a civil society for overcoming the difficulties faced by them in the state of nature. So then the people, they decided to end the state of nature so that the difficulties that are being faced by them in the state of nature, they may solve those problems or difficulties. The civil society was established through a social contract, and it resulted into the birth of a sovereign community, that is state. Ruler was a party to the contract. So when the people found several difficulties in the state of nature, they decided to overcome this state of nature and these difficulties by forming a civil society. So civil society was to be formed by forming a state, and state was formed by a contract among the people. For example, person A entered into contract with person B, who was the ruler, and person A submitted his right to govern himself to person B. Similarly, other person C, also entered into contract and he surrendered his right to govern himself to person B. So, in this way, state was formed. The ruler who was to rule the state, he was also a party to the contract. The sovereign community then entered into a second contract with the selected number of people and gave to it limited, defined, and definite authority. The government was to be agent of the sovereign community. So that when the people entered into contract, the ruler was formed. Okay, the state was formed. But second contract was also entered into, in which the people, they gave the powers to the government. It means that the powers of the government was defined in that contract. The government rested upon the consent of the community and derived its power from it. So, like the popular sovereignty, government was also rested upon the consent of the community. It means that it was formed by the people and the people could remove it at any time. So, to put it all in a nutshell, we can say that originally man used to live in the state of nature. Although the state of nature was full of peace, but he found several difficulties in the state of nature. In over to end these difficulties, he entered into, he decided to form a state. So, he decided to form a state so that all the difficulties that are encountered by him in the state of nature, he may not face those difficulties. Therefore, people entered into a contract with each other and they formed a state and formed a government to rule over them. So, this is all about social contract theory. It is given by three persons: Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau. Okay, so second question is, it is case study based question. Read the passage given below and answer the questions that follow. Mr. Sahil is a strong believer of God. He views everything as a creation of God. During a conversation in class on the topic of creation of state, he showed his religious instinct. He spoke as a believer of God. So, in this passage, we are being told that there is a person whose name is Mr. Sahil. He is a believer of God. Okay, and he views everything as a creation of God. So means he is showing his religious instinct. So question A, mention the theory which Mr. Sahil spotted in the passage above. So we are to name the theory which is spotted by Mr. Sahil. As in our syllabus, there are two theories of origin of state. First is divine origin theory and second is social contract theory. So religion supports the divine origin theory. So the theory which Mr. Sahil spotted in the passage given above is social contract theory. So who are the other supporters of that theory? Except apart from Mr. Sahil, who are the other supporters of this theory? So the main supporters of this theory are not men but are religions as whole. The answer to this question is given on page 2.2. First is the Jews, second Hindus, third Greeks and Romans, and fourth is Christians. So apart from Mr. Sahil, Jews, Christian, Hindus, Romans, and Greeks, they are the main followers, supporters of this theory. Question B, state any four features of this theory. So we are to give the features of this theory, and the answer to this question is given on page 2.3. So first feature is state is a creation of God. It means that God created the state. Second is state is a divine institution. State as created by God, it is divine institution. Third is king is the agent of God on this earth. So king is the agent who is appointed by God on this earth. King rules by the divine right to rule. So now the king is ruling over the people. He is ruling by his divine right to rule, means he is appointed by king, he is appointed by god, he is appointed by divine authority, so therefore he is ruling the state by his divine right to rule. Next is king has the divine right to issue commands which are laws and which have to be obeyed by all. So king has the divine right to issue commands. Okay, whatever orders are being issued by king are laws in nature and they have to be obeyed by all. No one can disobey the king because he is appointed by God. Next is monarchy is hereditary. What is the meaning of monarchy? Monarchy means when a state in which the kingship is there, means king is ruling the state. So monarchy is hereditary. The divine right to rule passes from a king to his successor. So the power to rule the state or the people, it is passed from a king to his son. Next is no one has the power to limit or take away the rights, powers and prerogatives of the king. So no one has any power to take away the powers, the rights and the authority of the king. So, to put it all in a nutshell, we can again say that state is a creation of God, state is a divine institution, king is the agent of God on this earth, king rules by the divine right to rule, king has the divine right to issue commands, which are laws, monarchy is hereditary, no one has the power to limit or take away the rights, powers, and prerogatives of the king. So, third part of the question is, why has this theory become outdated in the modern times? So why this theory is not supported in the modern times? So we are to write the critical evaluation of the divine right theory. The answer to this question is given on page 2.4 and 2.5. First is not based on fact. This theory is not based on fact. No one can accept the view that the first king was appointed by God himself. No king can give the proof of it. So, no king can give the proof that the first king, he was appointed by God himself. Second is unhistorical. History does not support this theory. It is based on mythology and not on historical facts. So, history also does not support this theory. It is based on just mythology and not on historical fact. No proof is there or no record is there where it is found that the first king was was appointed by God himself. Third is it fails to stand the test of morality. So the divine origin theory, it holds that king rules by the divine right to rule and he is responsible to God. So his commands are binding even if these lead to atrocities. So for example, a king is issuing any kind of order which is not good for the people or it is going against the humanity. So it is not based on moral values. So this theory does not stand the test of morality. Next is it explains only kingship. So it is against democracy. So if we are supporting this theory, we cannot become liberal in this modern era. Okay, against democracy. So as it supports only the right of the kings, so it is against democracy. It is a religious and political theory as it is supported by the kings, the religions. It is just a religious theory and not a political theory. Okay, No political scientist has ever given this theory or ever supported this theory. It is a dangerous theory. How it is a dangerous theory? Because it makes the position of king very strong. Okay, so it can lead to dictatorships, not applicable to modern state. In this era of democracy, when every state is going for democratic values, or even if the despotic states of Middle East, they are also giving rights to their people. So in the modern times, in the 21st century, this theory is not applicable. Next is, it is a conservative theory. What is the meaning of conservative? Conservative means a person or a thing which takes us back to the ancient or medieval times. So it is just a conservative theory in which we are supporting that a person who is the ruler, his son also becomes the ruler. So even if a person is good, his son may not be as good as himself. Okay, so it is a conservative theory. Next is, atheists do not accept this theory. The persons who are not believing in the presence of God, how can they believe the theory which supports that the king is appointed by God? So the atheists who do not believe God, they do not accept this theory. So this is all about divine origin theory, and now we are to go by its back exercise. Firstly, we will do true false. First true false is, Muslims also support the divine origin theory. So Muslims do not support this divine origin theory, so it is false. Second is, Lasky supported the social contract theory. No, it is also false. Social contract theory is supported by Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau. Third is, according to divine origin theory, a council is appointed by God to aid and advise the king. No, it is also false. Council is not appointed by the king. Council is not appointed by the God. It is only the king which is appointed by God. Next is, according to the social contract theory, people always had a very happy life. No, it is also false, because the people did not always have a happy life. They faced difficulties and problems in the state of nature. So next is one word. It is the oldest theory of origin of state. What is the oldest theory of origin of state? It is divine origin theory. Second is, this theory of origin of state was propounded by great Troika, Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau. What is the meaning of Troika? Means a group of three persons. So this theory was put by great Troika, Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau. What theory is being supported? Which theory is being supported by them? It is social contract theory. So now there are MCQs. So I will be reading these MCQs, and after having revised this chapter, you are to send me the answers of these MCQs when the privacy of the group is opened by typing a message. First is, various theories were propounded for the origin of state. Which of the following theories project that the state is a man-made institution? Option A, divine origin theory. Option B, social contract theory. Option C, evolutionary theory. Option D, anthropology theory. Next is MCQ number 2. From the religious point of view, the state was formed because, option A, people wanted to get rid of the problems that they faced. B, God created the state and appointed the king to rule the state. C, people loved the appointment of king. D, People entered into a contract to create state. सो इसका भी आंसर आप ग्रुप में मैसेज करके बताएंगे. ऑप्शन MCQ 3. According to social contract theory, people entered into contract to create state. Reason: people face several difficulties in the state of nature. So option A, both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Option B, both assertion and reason are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Option C, assertion is true and reason is false. Option D, reason is false and assertion is true. Next is fill-ups. First, filling the blanks. God appointed dash to rule the state. God appointed king to rule the state. The dash was hereditary. The monarchy was hereditary. Third, dash states that people entered into contract to create state. It is social contract theory. Fourth, dash is the oldest theory of origin of state. It is divine origin theory of origin of state. So dear students, today we have revised this chapter number 2. So your homework for today is that you are to send me the answers of these MCQs when the privacy of the group is opened. Okay, thank you so much.